Have you ever wondered how accidents in aviation happen? Today, we dive deep into the tragic case of Partnair Flight 394. This flight broke apart mid-air, shocking the world. What went wrong on that fateful day? Let's explore the key factors step by step. First, we examine the aircraft involved. Partnair Flight 394 was a McDonnell Douglas DC-8. This plane is known for its reliability. Next, we look at the weather conditions. On the day of the accident, there were clear skies. Weather was not a factor on this occasion. Now, we explore human error. The crew faced a lot of pressure. They needed to follow strict protocols to ensure safety. After that, let's talk about the maintenance history. The aircraft had a questionable maintenance record. Maintenance checks were often rushed and not thorough. Then, we need to discuss the catastrophic failure. The aircraft experienced a sudden decompression. This led to structural failure mid-air, causing the tragic breakup. This catastrophe was shocking, but we can learn from it. Imagine taking a family trip on a plane. In this scenario, safety measures are your priority. Airlines must ensure their aircraft are well maintained. To summarize, several key factors contributed to the tragedy of Partnair Flight 394. Human error, poor maintenance, and overwhelming pressure played substantial roles. By knowing these factors, we can advocate for better aviation practices. Understanding these lessons can help prevent future accidents. Now, it's your turn. Share this information, and raise awareness about aviation safety. Together, we can ensure everyone travels safely. The story of Partnair Flight 394 serves as a cautionary tale for the aviation industry. With a focus on safety, we must reflect on how transparent communication and rigorous standards are imperative for every flight. Each airline has a responsibility to prioritize the lives of passengers and crew, paving the way for an aviation system built on trust and accountability. As we move forward from this calamity, we must remain vigilant, reminding ourselves that every decision made in the cockpit or maintenance hangar has a profound impact on human lives. As we reflect on the lessons from this tragedy, it becomes evident that a collective commitment to safety is fundamental in aviation. Flight crews and ground personnel alike must cultivate a culture where safety concerns can be voiced and addressed without fear. Furthermore, it is critical that all regulators and operators uphold the highest standards of maintenance protocols to avoid the dire consequences of negligence. When everyone involved in aviation prioritizes diligence and communication, the air travel experience can transform into one marked by confidence and security. Ultimately, the hope is that the legacy of Flight 394 will inspire a renewed dedication to aviation safety that lasts for generations. As we conclude our exploration of the tragic events surrounding Partnair Flight 394, it is essential to remember the vital importance of prioritizing safety in aviation. By learning from past mistakes, the industry can adapt and grow, ensuring that the lessons of this tragedy resonate deeply within the hearts and minds of those committed to safe air travel. Only through unwavering diligence, open dialogue, and a steadfast dedication to excellence can we hope to build a future where such heartbreaking incidents are a distant memory. Let this tragedy serve as a catalyst for change, driving the aviation community toward a safer tomorrow for all travelers. In conclusion, the legacy of Partnair Flight 394 highlights the critical need for consistent vigilance and improvement in aviation safety. Only through a unified effort towards accountability can we ensure a safer future in air travel. In closing, the lessons from Partnair Flight 394 must resonate throughout the aviation industry, guiding improvements that will protect future travelers and restore confidence in air travel safety. Let us honor those lost by committing to a future where every flight is a safe flight for everyone involved. Have you ever found yourself in a cramped cabin, the murmurs of fellow passengers blending with the hum of engines? As you settle into your seat, perhaps you trust that countless safety checks have paved the way for your journey. However, this was not the case for the passengers aboard Partnair Flight 394, a stark reminder of vulnerabilities hidden beneath a facade of reliability. The unnecessary tragedies from that day unveil poignant questions. How can we ensure that safety becomes an unwavering foundation in aviation rather than a mere afterthought? As we analyze the day of the accident, imagine the passengers, blissfully unaware of the impending doom. Each individual held hopes and dreams, each flight a step toward a future filled with possibility. But for those aboard Partnair Flight 394, this journey would become a harrowing descent into chaos. Within moments of takeoff, alarm bells could be heard, yet the crew struggled against a tide of miscommunication and unforeseen circumstances. The burden of responsibility weighed heavily on their shoulders as they fought to maintain control amidst the turbulence of fate. As the chaos unfolded in the cockpit, the crew faced the grim reality of a life-or-death situation. Instruments flashed ominously, warning them of the impending danger, yet the protocols they had practiced seemed inadequate against the violent forces at play. In those critical moments, every second counted, pushing them to make decisions that would alter the fates of all on board. As the aircraft shuddered in the skies, the crew's determination transformed into desperation, trying to stabilize the plane while combating the pressures of the situation, one that would soon lead to outcomes far more tragic than they ever could have anticipated. As the aircraft continued to shake violently, the sound of alarms filled the cockpit, blending with the muffled gasps from the cabin. The captain, resolute yet frantic, barked orders to his co-pilot, both men working tirelessly to counteract the mounting chaos. "Communicate with air traffic control," he directed, but his voice barely rose above the din that enveloped them. Outside, the sun glared down deceptively, illuminating a serene sky that belied the turmoil brewing within the aircraft's metal frame. The crew fought against the clock, fully aware that every passing moment brought them closer to catastrophe, a race against an unforgiving fate. In the cabin, passengers remained blissfully unaware of the tensions unfolding in the cockpit. Families chatted, children giggled, and the aroma of snacks wafted through the aisles, creating a misleading sense of normalcy. Little did they know that their hopes and dreams were one moment away from crashing into a harsh reality, their journey turning from an exciting adventure into a desperate struggle for survival. Suddenly, the aircraft lurched violently, sending oxygen masks cascading down from above. Panic ensued as passengers reached instinctively for the masks, confusion etched on their faces, each heart pounding with the sudden realization that their flight had transformed into a fight for life. As the masks deployed, a collective gasp filled the cabin, shattering the facade of safety. Parents instinctively shielded their children, their protective instincts igniting amidst the chaos. Faces transformed from joy to terror, confusion clouding their understanding of the perilous situation. "What's happening?" a child cried out, clutching their mother's arm tightly as the aircraft continued to tremble violently. In the cockpit, the crew's hearts raced, their training kicking in while the reality of the crisis weighed heavily upon them. The captain attempted to re-establish communication, urgency lacing his words as he queried emergency protocols, striving to gain control and lead them away from disaster. With the oxygen masks in place, panic began to spread throughout the cabin, creating a cacophony of cries and questions. "Stay calm," a flight attendant urged, her voice cutting through the chaos as she moved swiftly to reassure passengers, even as her own heart raced with fear. In those harrowing moments, a deep sense of urgency enveloped the entire aircraft, each individual confronting their worst nightmare, the uncertainty of survival. The crew fought valiantly to maintain control, but the strain of the situation bore down upon them, unraveling the trust passengers had placed in the flight. Desperation fueled their efforts, but as alarms blared and the aircraft continued to shake, hope flickered dimly among the turmoil, underscoring the fragility of life, and the unpredictability of fate. As the chaos reached a fever pitch, the captain's mind raced with possible solutions, his training clashing with the raging storm within the aircraft. "We're losing altitude," he shouted, the gravity of the situation pressing down on him like an anchor. With each passing second, the crew fought against the laws of physics, their resolve hardening as they shared brief glances of determination. Meanwhile, in the cabin, the desperate urgency of the moment wrapped around passengers like a shroud, each second dragging them deeper into a nightmare. The echoes of fear intermingled with the mechanical groans of the aircraft, creating a symphony of dread that nearly drowned out every remaining shred of hope. The crew's focus shifted, and the captain called out, "Prepare for emergency descent." Each word hung in the air like a heavy fog, the reality of their plight now binding them together in a shared struggle for survival. As the aircraft continued its perilous plunge, flight attendants worked frantically to comfort the terrified passengers. "Stay seated. Keep your seat belts fastened," one shouted, her voice an anchor amidst the chaos. Every ounce of her training surged forward as she fought to maintain a sense of calm, understanding the gravity of their situation. In the midst of the turmoil, the urgency in the cockpit heightened as the captain fought to regain control. He quickly assessed the situation, desperately trying to stabilize the descent while keeping communication lines open. "Mayday! Mayday! This is Partnair Flight 394, he shouted frantically into the radio, his heart racing as he awaited a response. Outside, the vast blue sky now felt like a cruel joke, a stark contrast to the desperation unfolding within the aircraft's cabin. Meanwhile, passengers clung to their loved ones, wide-eyed with fear and uncertainty as they realized the reality of their situation. The tension grew as they sensed the crew's panic, the reassuring hum of engines replaced by a dissonance that echoed their rising dread. With each passing second, the captain's resolve strengthened, he focused on the instruments, searching for any sign of an opportunity to regain altitude. "Accelerate to maximum thrust," he ordered, steely determination evident in his voice. The co-pilot nodded, his fingers flying across the controls, pushing the aircraft to its limits in an attempt to climb back to safety. As the engines roared in response, they felt the slight quiver of hope rising within the cockpit. Yet, the cabin echoed with the sounds of distress as passengers grappled with the chilling reality that their fate hung by a thread. A mother, cradling her child, whispered soothing words meant to deflect panic, even as her own heart raced with trepidation. Those fleeting moments of connection between families contrasted sharply with the chaos around them, creating a bittersweet atmosphere of love and fear. Just then, the aircraft shuddered violently again, sending a wave of fresh terror through the cabin as warnings blared from the cockpit. In this heart-wrenching ordeal, every second felt like an eternity. In that harrowing moment, the co-pilot cast a worried glance at the captain, their unspoken fears mingling amid the chaos surrounding them. The realization hit them like a jolt, they were facing not just mechanical failure, but something far more complex, a convergence of human error and unforeseen circumstances. The captain gripped the controls tighter, resolute in his commitment to fight against fate, while the co-pilot immersed himself in emergency protocols, reciting them under his breath in hopes of finding clarity. "We must keep our heads, focus on what we can control," he urged, trying to kindle the flicker of hope still trapped within the cockpit. As the plane continued to tremble, the urgency of the moment pressed down on everyone aboard while fear hovered above their heads like a dark cloud, ready to unleash the storm. In the cabin, the sounds of crying children mixed with frantic whispers, amplifying the collective anxiety as passengers grappled with their mortality. Amid this turmoil, a flight attendant moved purposefully through the aisle, offering support to those gripped by fear, delivering encouraging smiles, and reminding them of safety procedures. Each reassuring gesture from the crew became a lifeline, reminding passengers that they were not alone in this struggle for survival, even as the ground felt like it approached with alarming swiftness. The darkness in the cabin deepened as the aircraft nosedived, plunging through a tempest of emotions and sounds that reverberated like a haunting melody. The captain's voice conveyed an air of authority, yet trembled with the weight of desperation. "Brace for impact," he commanded, each word resonating like a grim prophecy. Instantly, every passenger responded, their instincts kicking in as they huddled closer and gripped their armrests tightly. The relentless roar of the engines filled their ears, blending with the cries of fear, while moments stretched into infinity. Time felt suspended, as each heartbeat echoed like a drum roll heralding the gravity of the impending moment. With their breaths held, passengers exchanged fleeting glances, silently acknowledging the unthinkable reality they faced together, an uncertain fate hanging perilously in the balance. As the aircraft continued its chaotic descent, glimmers of courage emerged amidst the despair. The flight attendants, steadfast in their resolve, urged passengers to stay calm, weaving through the tumult with compassion and urgency. In those agonizing seconds, their presence became a beacon of hope, as if reminding everyone aboard that humanity's spirit could shine brightly even in the darkest of times. The aircraft's descent grew increasingly steep, the world outside blurring beneath them as terror swallowed the cabin. In those moments, fractures of hope mingled with despair. The crew's unwavering commitment to survival drove them to plumb the depths of their training. "Prepare for impact. Hold on tight," the captain yelled, his words resonating through the air like an urgent battle cry, commanding the attention of every living soul on board. As the adrenaline surged, the flight attendants continued their meticulous efforts, moving swiftly to ensure each passenger felt a sense of connection amidst the chaos. The flight, once a shared journey of dreams, had spiraled into a collective struggle his passengers never anticipated. Together, they faced the mounting dread of fate while their hearts beat as one, each of them intertwined in a tapestry of shared humanity. Each heartbeat resonated with the looming sense of inevitability as the cockpit instruments flashed alarming warnings, further amplifying the chaos within the cramped space. "We must initiate emergency protocols now," the co-pilot urged, his voice rising above the cacophony as he flipped switches with trembling hands, desperately seeking a lifeline amidst the madness. With every frantic movement, he tried to muster the training that felt distant in these dire moments. Outside, the landscape blurred into an abstract painting, a stark reminder of how swiftly fortunes could change. In the cabin, the distress signals cranked to a new level as a deep sense of impending doom enveloped the passengers. The collective fear mirrored back from each terrified face, radiating a palpable tension that hung heavy in the air. A father, gripping his wife's hand tightly, turned to face his children, whose eyes glimmered with confusion and fright. "It's going to be all right," he whispered, though his voice cracked under the weight of uncertainty. Those words were a fragile thread, fraying with every lurching movement of the aircraft, yet he held on, determined to shield their innocence amidst the tumult. The flight attendants pressed on, faces set in determination as they navigated the upheaval, ensuring that everyone understood the gravity of their situation. "Stay calm. We're trained for this," one flight attendant shouted, her voice a stabilizing force against the fear that flooded the cabin. Each passenger craved reassurance, yet what they needed most was hope, a beacon to pierce through the suffocating darkness. The minutes dragged yet felt like seconds, a cruel dance of anticipation blurring the line between despair and resilience as they prepared for a fate hanging precariously in the balance. The moment arrived as the aircraft collided with the ground, the impact deafening, a cacophony of sound and chaos engulfing every soul aboard. Debris flew, bodies lurched, and the once mighty machine lay shattered, a stark reminder of the fragility of life. In those harrowing seconds, an eerie silence followed amidst the chaos, the weight of grief mingling with disbelief. For the survivors, the horror had just begun. They awoke to the confusion and anguish surrounding them, each person's mind grappling with the realization of what had just occurred. As rescue teams rushed to the scene, the world stood still, horrified at the sight of loss and destruction. This tragic event marked a pivotal moment in aviation history, a watershed from which renewed vigils for safety emerged, insisting that such calamities must never be forgotten. The legacy of Partnair Flight 394 reverberates as a solemn declaration: we owe it to each other to remember, to honor, and to protect lives in the skies. In the aftermath of the crash, the somber reality sank in for the survivors as they navigated through the wreckage, their minds struggling to comprehend the trauma they had just endured. First responders, equipped with urgency and compassion, worked tirelessly to offer aid, forming an unyielding bond of humanity amid chaos. Many passengers found themselves physically unscathed but emotionally shaken, haunted by the eerie silence that now permeated the atmosphere. The heart-wrenching scenes unfolded as those who had shared laughter and joy mere moments ago now grappled with loss, reflecting the fragile nature of life and safety. As the dust settled and reality took hold, the aviation industry was left to reckon with the catastrophic failure, igniting intense discussions about safety protocols and the crucial need for advancements in training and aircraft maintenance. Through collective mourning, and a desire for change, the hope emerged that lessons learned from this tragedy would pave the way for a future where every flight remains a sanctuary of safety. Ultimately, this heartfelt journey of healing and transformation serves as an enduring reminder that vigilance and commitment to passenger welfare must always come first in the world of aviation. As the initial shock shifted to the realization of survival, a profound silence enveloped the wreckage, punctuated only by the distant wails of sirens and the muted cries of survivors. First responders worked tirelessly, their dedication underscoring the very essence of human compassion during such trauma. Faces once marked by joy and anticipation now bore the imprint of fear and confusion, each passenger grappling with the overwhelming weight of their shared experience. Many moved gingerly, uncertainty reflected in their eyes as they stepped over debris, their breaths shallow and their hearts racing with adrenaline. In the aftermath of the calamity, moments of connection emerged as survivors instinctively sought solace in one another. A child clung tightly to their parent, while strangers exchanged reassuring glances, reminding everyone that amidst despair, humanity could prevail. The harrowing ordeal would forever alter the trajectory of their lives, compelling them to reconsider the fragility of existence and the responsibility placed upon those who navigate the skies. As the evening sun set behind the horizon, casting a bittersweet glow over the scene, the reality of loss mingled with hope for a more secure future. Each survivor carried a story, a testament to their resilience, while the aviation community stood at a crucial junction, determined to learn, adapt, and ensure such heartbreak would never be repeated. In the wake of the crash, the families of those lost began to gather, their faces etched with grief and confusion as they sought answers. Some exchanged knowing looks, a silent understanding of the shared pain that now bound them together. Tears streamed down the cheeks of mothers and fathers, their hearts heavy with an inexplicable void, while friends clung to one another, struggling to comprehend the finality of their losses. The air was thick with the scent of burnt metal and despair, a stark reminder of the lives that had been forever altered. As investigators began their meticulous work, piecing together the events leading to that fateful day, each revelation sparked a renewed sense of urgency. The need for change echoed in their minds, a collective call for a future where safety was paramount in the world of aviation, ensuring that tragedies like that of Partnair Flight 394 would never be repeated. As the investigation into Partnair Flight 394 unfolded, it revealed a complex web of failures that underscored the urgent need for reform. Experts delved into the maintenance records, uncovering a history riddled with neglect and oversight. Alarmingly, the findings pointed to a systemic issue within the airline industry, a culture that prioritized profit over passenger safety. Regulators and industry leaders gathered to address these glaring lapses, igniting discussions that echoed throughout the aviation community. This was more than an accident, it was a rallying cry for change, an opportunity to redefine standards and practices. As the survivors shared their stories, their voices became the catalyst for a movement, advocating for policies that would protect future generations of travelers. Their courage taught that, in the face of adversity, transformation is possible, and a commitment to safety must be unwavering. From the shadows of tragedy, the aviation world began to unite, determined to turn lessons learned into action, ensuring that the legacy of Partnair Flight 394 would be one of hope, resilience, and unwavering vigilance in the pursuit of safety for all. As the shadows of that tragic day lingered, the aviation industry slowly began to transform, shifting its focus toward a culture of safety and accountability. Regulators implemented stricter maintenance protocols, emphasizing the need for transparency in every operational aspect. Together, we honor the lessons learned, ensuring that no life is lost in vain. In conclusion, the legacy of Partnair Flight 394 serves as an enduring reminder that a steadfast commitment to aviation safety is crucial for safeguarding lives. By taking these lessons to heart, we can cultivate a future where each flight embodies trust and accountability.